everyone, I'm Lulu McGirdle and welcome back to Zombie Exodus Safe Haven. We are now on Chapter 6. I'm just going to get into it so we don't waste any time. So, you sit on a rock atop the Colorado hillside. The sun in a sky of deep blue shining down in your face, clouds are rolling in from the west, dark and heavy with rain. Beneath you lie hundreds of corpses, now festering under the glow of the same sun. Nearby are the remaining survivors: Brody, Church, Gina, Kelly, Madison, Nathan, Nora, Parker, Rachel, Riley, and Jamie. They look beaten and bloody, but for all they've been through since leaving Nightfall, they aren't broken. Above all looms the apocalypse, now in its third day with no end in sight. Jesus Christ, it's only been 3 days since the outbreak? Wow, that is... a lot has happened, and we lost Woody. You spot someone you haven't noticed before, a person about your size with auburn and red hair. The figure disappears behind a tree, and though you don't know the individual, you have a feeling you've met them in the past. You check your watch. It's already 3:15 p.m. The past hours have been Whoa! What? Oh my god, that is wild. Look. Up on my phone, the exact time is 3:15 p.m. Oh, that is amazing. Okay. Moving on. The past hours have been a blur. Though your leader, you discuss your plan to set up camp, which led to your fellow survivors eliminating the remaining infected, burying the dead, gathering supplies in the caravan, and bringing all that's needed for at least a day up to the clearing. Supervising from the summit with a nerve-wracking hour as you worried about the safety of your groupmates. Luckily, no injuries were sustained and no more infected popped up. Everyone carried out your plan without objection, and you worked by their sides until all of your goals were met. The mood around the clearing could be best described as sullen. The deaths suffered earlier in the day have taken a toll. They worked through their chores and near silence, shaken by the killing, the constant threat to their lives, and the reality that even if they survived the fight, life would never be normal again. As Riley passes you on his way down the hill, he pauses. Hey, thanks for what you did for my ma. You earned big points with me. He walks on, not even giving you a chance to reply. Okay. Your mind drifts to thoughts of the survivors. You've known Jamie for a long time, but most of the others you've only known for a short time. If you're developing feelings for them, how can you be sure they like you back? Has your relationship grown in these short days? I don't know, has it? Not really interested in them. And Jamie's just helping us out in the apocalypse. I don't think I have any feelings for any of them. Jamie takes a spot next to you on the wide rock. He rubs his face with his hands, digging the palms into his eyes like he's wiping away the tiredness. You know he's wiping away tears. He hasn't talked about Woody's death yet. Hey, Chloe. From behind, Rachel's voice calls from a short distance. She went scouting an hour ago past the clearing on the summit with others, while others from your group finished moving supplies up the hill. The clearing is ready to make camp. Should I gather everyone and move them to there? Sure. Let's go. You follow Rachel 50 yards back from the summit of the hill. A short stretch of hard rock and dirt leads from the ledge to an open meadow of grass and numerous wildflowers. In the short walk, you spot white thistle flowers that resemble upside-down spiders with spindly legs, red and orange trumpet horns, and even edible dessert paintbrush flowers. The breeze picks up and carries a strong scent of pine, but in harder gusts, the odor of death and decay rise off the hill. When you reach the woodlands, you enter the dense forest and weave through the low branches and pine needles, your feet breaking twigs and pine cones on the undisturbed earthen floor. No humans have come by this way in a number of seasons, and the critters and insects scurry as you disturb their domain. The high tremolo of blue jays and sparrows adds music to the background. Another 20 yards and you see a massive circular clearing, its borders dark, brown, and clearly separated from the flora, like the grove has avoided growth over a cursed plot of land. It's flat and round and hidden, and the only footprints here were made by your team's scout. Deer tracks dot the area, and you notice damp areas of ground where animals have marked their territory, likely larger rodents or foxes. The breeze dies out once you step into the circle, and as the native trees provide walls to the clearing that keep out the flow of wind. The remaining survivors arrive in turn, each finding a small plot of land where they can sit and rest. Nora unfolds a beach chair in a shaded canopy of branches, and Riley sits next to her on the dirt. He fixes her pant leg, which is rising from the walk, and she pats his back. Kelly sits with Parker, the pair comforting one another against the trunk of an old tree. Nathan sits next to Nora and shares a half-full bottle of water with her. As they stare around the clearing, Gina approaches. "Do you have a moment? I would like a word with you," she says, and walks past you to sit by a shaded area. She picks up a twig and sketches out doodles with it in the dirt. "We haven't been formally introduced. I'm Gina Nixon." "What? Are you related to Richard Nixon?" "I'm Chloe Thompson," you say. "Nice to meet you." She gives you a firm handshake. This may sound crazy, but I'm glad I spotted you all on the highway. Roads are closing everywhere. Nightfall is getting overrun by the infected, and I'm trying to get to a safe place until, well, I guess to start over. Were you all trying to leave Colorado together? My house burned down at nightfall, and the infected were all over the area, so we fled to find a safe haven. I'm sorry to hear about your house. I lost my house too. Infected stormed it. Can't believe we've all had to endure already. She pauses and settles into the ground, then picks up a smooth stone and rubs it with her fingers. The reason I stopped over is to say, first, I really appreciate how everyone fought on the hill. You all came together as a group. It's rare to see that level of teamwork. I don't think things are going to go back to normal anytime soon, which leads me to my second point. Can I tag along? There's nothing left for me in Nightfall. I'm an engineer, so I'm sure I can help you wherever your group lands. He glanced down and noticed a sizable diamond ring on her finger. Yeah, of course. We need to keep all survivors we meet alive, and she's safer with us than out there alone. A smile blossoms on Gina's face. Thank you so much. The last few days have been really tough. And knowing I have a group to join is the start of something good in my life. Maybe the stars finally aligned, and my luck is changing. As everyone finds a spot in the clearing, you step into the middle of the 40-yard wide clearing. I'd like everyone to gather around so we can discuss a few things, you say. Everyone is tired and hungry, so I promise to keep this real short. Church stands leaning against an old tree, wiping sweat from his brow with a checkered pocket square. Gina looks for a clear spot to sit, and Kelly waves her over. Riley, Madison, and Brody are last to enter the clearing, having spent the most effort dealing with the last of the infected horde. With the entire group present, you provide a straightforward, detailed plan, explaining that require order and discipline if the group hopes to survive. Focus on providing basic needs. I want to lift spirits, not be a dictator. But we need to be a little, every now and then, provide a straightforward, detailed plan for survival. You stand before the semicircle of survivors and project your voice with authority. You've had a grueling day and it's not over. Most of you just want to rest and get some food and clean up. Sure, all of that will happen, but there's still work to be done, and fortunately there are no days off in the apocalypse. I need everyone to pull their own weight. We have to secure this area, set up our camp, and pool our resources. Everyone will have something to do here, and together we'll make it through the outbreak. Reading the faces of the survivors, you see them nodding in agreement and showing your other signs they appreciate your speech. If you had to guess who made the group more loyal towards you. Just as the semicircle breaks, Jamie walks up to you, yawning and stretching his back. Hey, good speech. Thanks, I tried to keep it short. I know we're all out of energy. No, sorry, I wasn't yawning because you were talking. I don't even remember what sleep is like. Rachel joins the two of you. Well, Jamie, right after you eat, you should nap for a few hours. Maybe, we'll see. He looks at the dirt floor of the clearing. You can see his mind working all those things that need to be done. So, Chloe, whilst I have you aside from the group, I thought it would be wise for us to pick a person to act as a quartermaster of sorts. One who can inventory and track our supplies. Not to play favorites, but I thought one of your group could do so. What do you have in mind, you ask? Parker, perhaps? We worked as a museum curator and might be more suited to cataloging weapons and firing them. To put it nicely, Jamie adds, that would be a good use of his talent, you say. Then there's Nora. She wants to help but has limitations. This gives her a charge, and her motherly disposition suits her to task. Jamie smirks. I sure wouldn't cross her. Rachel nods her head towards the side of the clearing. Kelly might be a proper choice. She wants a position of power in the group, and this helps to show her she's a vital member. So what do you think, Chloe? Jamie asks. You can't do everything yourself, so you better start delegating. I'm gonna choose Nora. I'm gonna choose the all-loving mother in this. I don't know. Nora's the best choice. Let's go tell her. The three of you walk to the side of the clearing where Nora sits on her beach chair and Riley is digging through several large designer suitcases. The luggage, is it Louis Vuitton? Rachel asks, wearing the 4 elegant bags. You like them? Nora says, grinning and wide-eyed. Damn, they look expensive. Jamie steps over and runs his hand down the side of the brown and red leather exterior. It says Brianna Carter on the side. Riley shoots a look of annoyance at Jamie. Hands off, big guy. Nora, we came to speak to you for a moment, you say. We were talking about the group and realized we need to divide up some of the responsibilities. One job is to track all of our supplies and manage who's taking them and what we need to survive. Nora tilts her head and scrunches her face. Like an inventory supervisor? Precisely, Rachel answers. Jamie crosses his arms over his chest. Everyone respects you, ma'am. We figured you'd do the job the best. Look, my ma is not out here working for you guys, Riley says with a sharp tone. We're just riding this out until the outbreak's over. Nora smacks the back of her son's head. Mind your mouth, boy. I don't need you speaking for me. Now, if the three of you want me to do this, it's hard to say no. Besides, I love bossing people around. Do I get a hat or a badge or something? We'll see what we can find, James says with a chuckle. Thanks, Nora, you say. Now that we're set on someone to manage supplies, let's pool our respective inventories and prepare food for everyone. As a matter of quartermaster is finished, James steps up to you. Hey, I figured you wanted to check out our food supply. When you're done, let me know so I can cook something up. I got an idea for apocalypse stew I want to try out. Oh, that's lovely. While the rest of the group settles into the clearing and Jamie and Rachel prepare a large campfire, you gather all of the food and water from the various backpacks and from asking fellow survivors to donate what they can spare. Rachel and her group donate the most food, 400 portions, while Parker hands over a healthy amount of 40 portions. You tally the rest. Jamie contributed 50, Nora and Riley handed over 60, Church handed 20, Gina 40, Finn's knapsack 30 portions. Totaling all contributions equals 640 food and 360 of water. Looking at your personal supply of 40 food and 70 water, you contribute half my food and water. I don't trust this group enough to give more. You contribute 20 food and 35 water, making the group total 660 food and 365 water. Jamie and Rachel stand over a campfire, thin gray smoke rising above it. Crackling logs hiss and pop, and Brody tosses in a long branch, which flares as it meets the flames. At the edge of the clearing, survivors have lined the ground with their makeshift bedding, sleeping bags, and a single 4-person, dome-shaped tent for Rachel's group. While you're finishing the cataloging of the food and drink, Riley steps forward, steps towards you, hands in the pockets of his jeans and glancing back and forth over his shoulders, sheepish in his approach. Hey kid, how you doing? He says and rubs the back of his neck. Doing okay, Riley. Thanks for asking. Is there something I can help you with? Riley crouches next to you. So here's the thing. A few years ago, I had a job as a line cook, and I actually missed the work. If you need someone to feed these people, I'd be happy to do it. Believe it or not, cooking is one of my passions, and he looks over his shoulder with no one around. He turns back to you. I don't know if you realize it, but yesterday was Mother's Day. I was hoping to put something special together for my ma. Nothing fancy, but maybe a cupcake or a treat of some kind. So what do you say? Need a cook? Based on what Riley has described as his cooking experience and training, you're guessing that you're a better chef than Riley. Oh. However, he would truly appreciate the opportunity to cook for the group. Jamie is already assuming he'll be cooking tonight's meal and might be upset if he's not allowed to do it. You've never known him to be a great cook, but maybe he's gotten more practice at his recent job. Yeah, we can't afford the luxury of treats right now. No, Jamie has to be the cook. It's best him, let him do it, but you can prepare something something for your mother. Riley's face lights up. Thanks, kid. That's good enough for me. I'll grab a few things to make her a small cupcake or something. I'll stay out of the big guy's way. Riley stands, takes a few items for baking, and trots towards the campfire. You spend half an hour separating the food and figuring out how much can be used for a meal today versus saved for future consumption. Without a way to predict the timing of an end to the outbreak, you have no way of knowing when more food will become available through normal means. There's no going to a store, and you don't know if aid is available from emergency services. The food and water in front of you may need to last a while. You look around the camp and the other survivors. Many are sitting on blankets on the ground, trying to rest for the first time in many hours. Those who are working to set up camp are sluggish and weak, milling about as if imitating the languid walk of the infected. Giving them a hearty meal will replenish their bodies and spirits, making them more capable of surviving the day ahead. How much can you spare? Should you conserve now in proportion to future meals? Or give the groups a feast and risk leaner meals on the days ahead? Small meal for the group, but my closest allies will secretly receive extra. Everyone gets a small amount just enough to survive. We need to conserve. Sure. Alright then. You separate out food and bring enough for the meal of the campfire. Oh good, you can put the food right here on the blanket. I made space for it, Jamie says, pointing to a small stretch of plastic near the edge of the fire. You place everything on the mat and he rifles through the items you brought over from the group's supplies. Not a lot here, people are hungry, but I know we have to make our food stretch. When I was growing up we had some lean years, and my mom made gourmet meals out of table scraps. I can make it work. I can make a soup instead of stew. It'll be thin. Not much meat here. Okay, I better get started. The clearing on the Colorado hillock has become a safe haven of sorts, set back in a clearing of the forest. No one can see your group from the highway below in a small clearing. Tents and blankets line the outer part of the circle, and the survivors take spots as food is passed from pot to person, filling bowls, empty Tupperware, and any other container scrounged for use. Receiving your own bowl of soup, you feel thankful for the meal, despite the meager helping. Pushing your spoon through the warm mixture, you see only a few small cubes of meat. There's no telling how long you'll be stuck here atop the hill. Finding food will have to be a priority. The person you recognize on the hilltop after the battle walks over to you. Hey, my name is Ray, he says. I was fighting in the battle on the hill. Not sure if you saw me. I appreciate you letting me join the group. Sorry, what? No. Ray looks back, perplexed. Right, after the battle, as we were pulling people on to the top of the ridge, we shook hands, you patted me on the back, and told me in a real commander-in-chief way, glad to have you with us. Maybe I was wrong to assume that it was an invitation. Riley happens to walk by and he nods at you and Ray. When you look back, Ray's not there. Just behind you, trees rustle in the forest. I'm so confused. With the meal prepared and ready to be served, you look around the clearing while everyone eats. You look for a place to sit or someone to join. Everyone's eating so fast, you might only have time for one quick check-in. There'll be time for more in-depth talks later. I'm going to check in on Rachel. Rachel sits on the ground, her empty bowl next to her. She gives you a weak smile, then squeezes her eyes shut and stifles a yawn. Hey, she says, her voice sounding frail and almost broken. This is harder than I thought. She lifts her knees, lays her head on them, and wraps her arms around her shins. I just need 5 minutes before I work on the camp again. You spend some time there, enjoying your meal while chatting, occasionally looking around camp at the other survivors. Most stare at their bowls with discontent, and you even hear a few grumbles at the paltry meals. Though no one speaks or complains, you can tell what they're thinking. Where's the rest of it? Church walks over to Parker's blanket, and they kneel together in silence, heads bowed and hands pressed together in a sign of prayer. After a few moments, Parker makes the sign of the cross, and Church walks back to this camp spot. Riley spoons his soup and sucks down the spoon for every last morsel. Jamie eats a mouthful and pauses. You figure to make it last longer. The twins stare off into the woods, mindlessly lifting their spoons to their mouths. Gina might be the only person who's content. A slight grin never leaves her face as she glances around camp at all the survivors. With the meal over, cleanup begins. Without a sink to rinse out bowls and containers, your companions use a sparse amount of bottled water to clean them or simply wipe them out with paper towels. Hey, if y'all want s'mores for dessert, come on over, Jamie says with a cheerful bellow. The survivors stop to clean up and congregate near the campfire, surprised expressions on their tired faces. Nora is last to make it, and the group makes a path for her to reach the front of the fire closest to Jamie. After she stops near the roaring flames, the rest of the survivors form a semicircle around the bonfire. Jamie raises his arms above the group, and all go quiet. Hey there, early on, Riley made a great suggestion, so I'm turning this over to him. Take it away, Riley. Okay. I appreciate you all coming over here, he says. He pauses and looks at his mother, tears forming in his eyes, which he quickly wipes away. Look, I'm no talker. My mother means the world to me. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and this lady has always been the best ma a punk like me could ask for. Happy Mother's Day, Ma. Love ya. Oh, come here, you hot dog, Nora says, and opens her arms for her son. He hugs her, and she strokes his hair and plants a kiss on his cheek. The group watches as the mother and son embrace, all in silence with only the sides of the mountain wind and crackling fire to be heard. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, wherever you are, Brody says. He takes Madison's hand and she lays her head on his shoulder. Happy Mother's Day to you and to Daniel. I love you, Dad. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, Jamie says next. I know you're out there, probably saving other people. I'd like to send my love to the best parents in the world, Nathan says. Their names are Claire and Mustafa. I almost said Mufasa. That's oh. Kelly takes a step forward and raises a plastic cup. To my mother. She died 2 years ago, the day before New Year's Eve. She was strong yet comforting, honest but cunning, hard-working but fun-spirited. To all single mothers out there and all those surviving on their own, not just through an outbreak but through every sickness, every day rent due, every time a meal is placed on the table, every trip to Chapel Hills Mall for school supplies, every prom dress, her voice fades and she drinks from her cup. My mother wasn't the God-fearing woman, believe it or not, Church says as he stands up, a wide-brimmed Panama hat in his hand. But she raised me right, worked 2 jobs to put me through divinity school, and died of a heart attack still working at 91. Wow, way to go, Mom. Happy Mother's Day to you, he points to the sky. Gina stays seated but lifts a cup. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And to Michael, I love you and miss you. Her voice breaks at the end. Aww. Everyone stands around the campfire, silent in a brief pause from expressing their Mother's Day wishes. Finally, Rachel raises her mug next. My mother is a wonderful woman. She's a head librarian in London. At least I hope she still is. Rachel breaks and looks at the ground. When life was particularly challenging, she reminded me of the story of the elephant and the hummingbird. One day an elephant came upon a hummingbird lying on its back on the branch of a tall tree and its tiny feet in the air. What are you doing? The elephant asked. The hummingbird replied, I heard the sky might fall today, so I'm ready to help hold it up, should it fall. The elephant snorted a cruel laugh. Do you really think those tiny feet could hold up the sky? The hummingbird kept his feet up in the air intent on its purpose. Not alone, but each must do a part, and this is what I can do. The campfire flares and Jamie moves to check it. He pushes some of the logs apart and the fire stops smoking. With the group finishing their toast and expressions of embrace. Say nothing, I don't want to thank my mother. We didn't have a good relationship. Still say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. The group answers your words and with a drink from their cups. With dinner finished, Jamie brings a tray of marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers to the fire. Hey everyone, time for s'mores. Yes, chocolate, Madison yells. The group gathers around the fire again and sticks with marshmallows are passed around for roasting. For the first time since the battle against the horde, you see relief and a bit of happiness on the faces of the survivors. People are talking, laughing, and enjoying the taste of the sweet treats. 2 full bags of marshmallows, 10 bars of chocolate, and an unopened box of graham crackers are all eaten. Might be the last time for such a dessert for a while to come, but from the looks around camp, it was worth it. So much has happened since you left your home yesterday. It's hard to think about what to do now. Most of the survivors are working on setting up places to sleep for the night, or have already started napping. There's no telling how long your group will be at the clearing, so you might want to get a jump on setting up your own place to sleep. Hey, Chloe, Madison says from behind. You turn and see her carrying a small knapsack over one shoulder and a rifle over the other. Me and Brody are heading to a lake nearby. Rachel said it's fresh water, so I want to go swimming. Brody found a fishing pole, so he's all excited to fish. It'll be so nice to just sit and relax for a while. I know we should be building our camp and stuff, but I just want to go and clear my head. With all these people dying and now we're essentially homeless, I need some time to decompress. Anyway, if you want to come with us, grab whatever you might need and meet us outside camp. Also at the side of the clearing, Nathan and Kelly prepare to leave camp to scout west of the hilltop. You overheard them telling Rachel that they were heading out after the group meal. As you watch Brody and Madison make final preparations before heading to the lake, you see Jamie walking towards the hillside path to the highway. Jamie mentioning wanting to work on fixing the supply truck. Rachel follows close behind. Since there are only a few hours left before dark, you go to the lake with Madison and Brody. Hell nah. Hell yeah. Why not? That's what I meant to say. Now that your group has combined its inventory, you have access to more gear and clothing options. Rachel even offers some of her special weapons to members of the group she feels can use them effectively. As you prepare to leave camp, you consider the weapons you're holding. Machete in hands. Now, I want to shoot differently. Crossbow, fire axe, bolt action rifle. You know, I might take the bolt action rifle as well. Yay! Okay, there we go. Keep this outfit on. In the late afternoon, your group takes a narrow natural path through the woods towards the lake. Within 5 minutes of the trek start, you hear the buzz of insects in the spot, the quick movement of a fox from a burrow. The fresh smell of pine makes the air crisp and new, waking you up and reminding you that parts of the world have been left untouched by the outbreak. Knowing how precarious your situation is, you find yourself keeping an eye out for any edible plants you can return to camp with. Immediately, you notice cattails growing near the edge of the lake. While far from the most appetizing of plants, you know cattail roots can be a great source of starch. However, you also know that there are some look-alike plants which are poisonous. You move closer and put a small one from the mud. To your delight, there's no odor other than mud, so you know it's safe. And you notice a fine golden dust on your hand from the upper portion of the cattail. You can recall this is the time of year when some cattails produce pollen. You smile, as you know that if enough cattail pollen is collected, it can be used in place of flour to make biscuits or other baked goods. Additionally, you notice some footprints by the edge of the lake. You see what looks like the outline of a heart shape made by two pointed toes. You recognize these as hoof prints of a deer would make, probably when it came down to drink water from the lake. Finally, further away from the lake, you spot green bushes with small white flowers, which you recognize to be yarrow. Some people believe that yarrow can be made into a medicinal tea, which fights colds and improves circulation. While the health benefits of yarrow could be debated, you know that it can also be used to make an insect repellent, especially useful this close to the lake and possible mosquitoes. I can't wait to rinse off in the lake. I can't stand how badly my clothes smell, Madison says, pulling out the end of her shirt and wrinkling her nose. I haven't swum in the lake for years. I hope the water isn't freezing, Brody says. Oh my gosh, Brody, remember when you were 10 and the heat pump and the jacuzzi busted and you jumped into freezing cold water? I swear the water actually turned yellow from all the pee. Yikes. It was like Jaws bit someone's bladder underwater. Madison laughs so hard she holds her stomach and cries while trying to catch her breath. Brody glares at her. I just drank a 16-ounce Mountain Dew. What did you expect? Path widens as the forest thins, opening to a low field of lush grass drenched in sunshine. Butterflies flutter through the air at your presence, lifting through the haze and gliding through the trees. On the right, the rustle of leaves and branches calls you to spot the denizens of the forest. A duo of white-tailed deer traipsing back from the lake on your left. Madison stops, whispers and points. Look over there. In a much louder voice, Brody says, What? 30 yards away, a full-sized deer jumps into the brush, rushing away from the sudden noise. Madison turns on her brother, fury on her face, and punches him in the shoulder. When someone whispers something, you don't go and yell it. Do you understand? She growls. Madison, Brody tries to explain. Oh, whatever, she says and trudges back down the path. Brody lingers behind until he catches your attention. He gestures you to the side, and you can tell that something is really bothering him. What's the matter, Brody? You ask. He slowly explains, I think there's something wrong with Maddie. If you're talking about that outburst, you say. Brody shakes his head, interrupting. That may be part of it, but not the cause. No, she will. She's been acting as if this were some kind of vacation. Vacation, you ask? Brody nods. Almost everyone else has reacted some way with what's going down. Some cried, others got angry, while some just went silent. Madison, she's too cheerful, too lively. Is there any way I can help, you ask? Talk to her, Brody says. Maybe she'll open up to you. Just don't tell her I said anything. Her and I don't exactly have the best relationship. From down in the glen, Madison turns and shouts in a loud, stern voice, "Hurry up, slowpokes!" Brody gives a final look your way, then hurries in Madison's direction. He follows suit. You soon find yourself in a rather green-looking clearing. Verdant grass and flowers provide a soft place to sit, while the water of the lake laps against the shore under a gentle breeze. Everyone tosses their backpacks to the ground. Madison looks toward the water greedily, while Brody is busily looking around his backpack. Does anyone know the name of this lake? Madison asks. I've never been here, but I think I'd like to return someday. Brody shrugs. Your guess is as good as mine. You actually remember an old news story about this area, one that had been repeated on television for a while. One perspective showed a nearby junkyard where the reporter had talked to the owner several years ago. Vestiges of memory tug at your awareness, and then you remember the name. This is Sapphire Lake, so named by the first American explorers who discovered it. They were struck by the deep blue color of the water. Sapphire Lake? Why does that name seem familiar? Madison muses to herself. Leatherjack, Brody says quietly, his face getting a little more serious. You don't mean... Madison starts to say it and stops so she sees Brody's affirming nod. Yeah, Leatherjack. A serial killer from about 50 years ago. He would take hunters, hikers, whoever crossed his path, and skin them alive, you say, feeling unnerved by even discussing a serial killer. Made their skin into jackets. Ew! If it was leather, wouldn't you stop at some point? Madison asks. You know, once he had a full jacket? Not really, you reply. It wasn't like he cured it properly. If nothing else, he kept hunting to replace the newest patches in his jacket. No one needs to worry about him. Police caught him decades ago, you say. Although some people say they feel his presence to this day. Ooh, no. The group splits up with Madison walking close to the shoreline while Brody walks along the edge of the lake away from everyone. Hunt for deer requires ranged weapons, no vegetarians. Wait, what? No, I'm gonna find some... Okay, yeah, go hunt for deer, I guess. Remembering the animals Madison spotted on the tracks you discovered earlier, you know the lake seems to be a good place for deer to come. As a result, you start along the path for the best spot to wait for deer. Noticing your activity, Madison comes forward and hands it behind her back and asks, "What you doing?" "I'm going to see if I can bag a deer," you reply. Madison's face grows blank and just thought, "I see." Catching the change in her mood, you say, "If it bothers you, you probably don't want to see what happens if one crosses my path." Brody lays a hand on his sister's shoulder. Don't underestimate Maddie. When we visited her Uncle Nate, she bagged her own buck. Madison nods slowly. That I did. Well, it still feels weird for me to realize we might have to hunt our own food. However, I can do it. I know. You do know that it requires complete silence, you say. Brody lets out a small laugh. Good luck with that, Madison. Madison looks like she's about to give him a piece of her mind, but instead bites her lip. I'll get my gun. The wizard dents. The natural path that led you to the lake continues north. Stretching for a mile, parallel to the highway, you find a likely spot, shrouded by the low branches of trees and downwind from where your smell could be detected. It feels like an hour passes before you spot movement several hundred feet away and see the furtive head of a buck look from side to side. He breathes deeply but doesn't detect your presence, tall and broad and brown, the color of Colorado soil. He dips his head to eat and then scans the forest for danger. He then makes his way to the water's edge. Brody points across the water, maybe 100 yards away. His eyes go wide and he mouths, "You got this?" You could take the shot from here, but at this distance, you can't guarantee the kill. One shot is all you get. The animal will run once it hears the noise of your weapon. You could move closer, but in the time it takes to cross the woods, the buck might leave or hear your movement. Madison stands with her rifle, and if you have faith in her abilities, you can have her take the shot. Why, it's a big risk, but I'm gonna take the shot. You sure you can take the shot and make it count? The deer isn't far away. The deer is far away, won't get spooked, and stands in clear sight. You raise your Springfield rifle and wait until the deer lowers its head for the lick again. As you aim for the head, the deer draws back from the water, with him changing position so often as he drinks. A brain shot will be harder, then time it wrong, and the shoot will miss, scouring him away. Instead, you aim for the heart. It might not kill him outright, but a well-placed hit to the heart or even lungs will kill him in seconds and leave a trail of blood that's easy to follow. As you take aim, your finger slips over the trigger and you fire. The shot sails through the air across the field and over water. Deer lets out a cry of pain and then turns to run. Blood dribbles from a spot on his broadside, and you see your shot was too low and must have hit his liver. Oh boy. You curse aloud. Even though it will kill the deer, he'll have time to run so far that he might lose the trail. And you hear the sound of a gunshot from where Madison stands. The deer jerks from the bullet's impact, his head reeling up as he staggers a few steps and hits a tree. When you turn to Madison, she with a satisfied grin, hand on her hip. She stares back at you, laughing. Sorry to steal your kill, but if it makes you feel any better, your shot would have killed. Last one of the carcass has to carry it back to camp, Brody says as he starts up the path. Madison sighs, stomping after him. No one's playing your game, loser. Okay, what now? Madison asks, maintaining a slight distance from the fallen animal. You pull out a sharp knife. This is the fun part. We have to dress it out. Won't that be a bit gross, she asks. Very, but I don't intend to carry a whole deer back by myself, you reply. Since Madison shot it, shouldn't she gut it? Brody jokes, laughing at his sister. Ha ha, funny, she says, glaring at him. You gesture for Brody to grab one leg of the animal while you hold the other. The two of you drag it and hang it upside down from a nearby tree, then slit the throat, letting the blood pour out in a crimson wave. You cut the carcass from the top, making your way down. You peel back the hide and remove the heart, lungs, and other organs, leaving the best cuts of meat. Madison made a clean shot, but the animal took a good deal of damage, losing you some usable sections of meat. All in all, you estimate carving out 25 pounds of meat. You're not stuffing that in my backpack, Madison says. You turn back to your grisly work, glad that at least there's a nearby lake to wash off the muck and gore. Okay, we're gonna return to the hilltop. Much sooner than you want, your time at the lake comes to an end, so you gather up your backpacks and give one last regretful look at the calm waters of Sapphire Lake. You don't know when or if you'll be able to come back, but it made for a good break from the campsite. For an instant, a spark of light flashes in the distance. It might have been the sun somehow reflecting off the lake, but you quickly dismiss this as it came further up the tree line. Your gaze slowly pans the horizon, and that's when you see another flash of light, a reflection off glass. Squinting your eyes, you can make out a person in camouflage looking down in your direction. Sunlight reflecting on the lenses of his binoculars. You took out your binoculars and looked through them at the figure. He's tall and solid through a backpack and utility vest masks his shape. He has dark hair under a camouflage pattern hat, and a rifle is slung on his shoulder. As you examine him, he draws back into the foliage and disappears. No one else notices the stranger. You don't want to worry the others, so you keep it to yourself for now. From the far shore, you catch snatches of a low sound. Shaking your head, the sound becomes more distinct than a growl. The sound is one you're familiar with, having experienced it when you fought the zombies at the hilltop. There, on the other side of the lake, you catch the lumbering forms of two zombies, though it's hard to make out the details. You can swear they're tasting the air. We should get back, you say, before the others start to worry about us. You and the twins take the natural path south of the hilltop. The other survivors are all involved in setting up sleeping arrangements or performing other chores. No one notices your return until you take out the freshly carved venison. What's all that? Nora says, eyes wide and voice excited. It's deer meat. Venison. Madison shot one by the lake, you say. Nora cackles. I love venison. I used to shack it up with a butcher and get free deer jerky, you know? The day after. Riley's face goes pale like he's going to vomit. I ate jerky all the time when I was in middle school. I think I ate it 2 or 3 times a week. Nora puts a hand on her hip and just juts it out in a sexy pose. You're damn right you did. Riley clutches his chest. So much jerky. This is great, Church says, walking over to check out the cuts of meat. It'll feed us for days. Deer meat for days. I'm done with this conversation. Madison walks away and the rest of the group wanders off. You check the time and it's 7. Okay. Take my mind off the outbreak by reading a book. It's like being back home. A wave of emotion swirls within you. Less than a week ago you were going about your normal life, and now you find yourself living a nightmare almost straight out of any horror novel. So imagine you're surprised to find your book neatly tucked away with those belongings you could take. Sure, there's an odor of smoke still clinging to the book, but otherwise it seems untouched. You get to a quiet place with a book you started a few weeks ago but never finished. Burn the Barn, Planet Battles. Hell yeah, Planet Battles. You turn to the middle of the book and let yourself slip back into the story, and though the sounds of the forest try to distract you, and passing insects and chatter from the campsite draw your focus, you're able to enjoy reading. After an hour of reading, you close the book. You stare at the cover of the book, wishing you could continue reading, but you want to keep the experience going as long as possible. You slip the book under your arm and walk towards the main area of camp, glad to have had some time to yourself. From the hillside, you see Jamie and Rachel returning to camp, and they look tired and dejected. When you glance over to Jamie, he looks back to you and shakes his head, a clear sign he made no progress fixing the supply truck. Well, that's a shame. I think we're gonna rest for the night. With the sun down, night falls over the clearing, thick with blackness beyond the campsite. The fire in the center glows orange and red and provides the only source of light. A wispy line of smoke rises high and mixes with the deep blue sky. Clouds roll in from the east, threatening rain tomorrow, offering another test for your group of survivors. A breeze has picked up and the temperature feels 20 degrees cooler than in the daytime. With the groups concerned over attacks from wild animals and zombies, you contemplate watch duty. You get to the center of the camp and call attention. Everyone come over here to talk for a second. You say and wait for the group to form a circle around you. We're all tired and ready to sleep, however, we have to agree to some rules. First, don't leave camp tonight. This place not be much, but we have a better chance of staying safe overnight if we're together. Also, we need a few people to stay up in shifts on watch duty. Brody speaks up. Watch duty? If we're all asleep, something could wander into our camp and attack us. If a few people stay awake and look out for danger, others can sleep in peace. We can do 2 to 3 hour shifts. We're all tired, Parker blurts out. I realize we need to look out for danger, but can't we all sleep tonight? Yeah, we need to keep watch, but we're at the top of the hill, Riley adds. It ain't easy getting into this camp. Jamie stands. Chloe's right. One infected gets into camp and we're all dead. He then turns and whispers to you in a joking way. I'd hate to be the one assigning a watch duty. I'll stay on watch duty alone if no one else will agree to it, Rachel says, her tone showing frustration. Not all of us have a chance to volunteer yet, Brody says in an annoyed tone. I'll do my part as well as anyone else, or better. We need some of us on watch duty so there's no more discussing it, you say. Keeping a watch duty just makes good sense, Church states. I'll volunteer for first shift. Kelly stands up, hands in her pockets, shoulders slumped. I'll do whatever, but I'm dozing off even now. If I can get a few hours to sleep, I'll wake up early to relieve someone. Not everyone should take a shift, Riley says, nodding sideways to his mother. Just let the strong do it, like me, Jamie, Rachel, Brody. Nora folds her arms like a defiant toddler. You're saying I'm weak? I can stay up and keep watch as good as anyone. As arguments start through the group, Ray walks up next to you. Good job, leader, he says, laughing and emphasizing leader to be sarcastic. While the group debates the plan, you assign a stronger member to keep watch. Yep, we'll go with that. Spend a few minutes selecting your stronger members. Brody, Church, Gina, Ray, Rachel, Riley, and Jamie. Parker seems against taking a shift. Madison already walked away, showing she had no interest in taking a shift. I guess I know what you think of me, Chloe. Nora snaps. Ugh. Sorry, Nora, you say, and then addresses the group. Okay, everyone, I'll post a chart to let everyone know their shifts. We'll start in an hour, in terms of watch duty for yourself. I'm not taking watch duty. You're too tired to watch camp. Everyone else can do it. You glance around camp to see 2 tents, one for Rachel and one for Nora and Riley. Considering the shelter tents provide, they must be like VIP hotel rooms right now. You find a clear area to set up your personal camp. It's like everyone has claimed their own small stretch of the clearing, like settlers in the uncivilized barrens of the Old West. While no one's looking, you change out of your street clothes into a simple clean t-shirt and shorts for comfort. You lay out a thick blanket to cover the floor. It's no tent, but it'll provide some comfort from the hard ground and give you warmth. A hard burst of wind rings through the camp, blowing leaves and dirt through your sleeping area. You clear away the debris, wishing you draw a blanket around your body and legs to keep away the cold. As your eyes close, you catch movement from the side of your area. Ray is laying on the ground, hands behind his head, ankles crossed. I'm sleeping here for the night. Have a good one. We'll all need our strength come tomorrow. Too tired to say anything, you choose silence. Though it's May, the temperature up on the Colorado hilltop makes it cooler than it should be. Storm clouds rolling in mean tomorrow it will rain, and your small group will deal with one more obstacle. As you lay your head back, your mind drifts into the ether of sleep with only one lingering thought. What else can this world throw at us? I don't know. That's an excellent question, but a good question to answer. Next time, I am going to end this video here. That was a pretty good chunk of this game. That was a pretty good chapter. I enjoyed it. I hope you did. If you did, please hit that button down below. Like always, I will catch you all in the next video.